I was standing in my sister's backyard with a paper cup of lemonade when she pressed an ultrasound photo into my hand. She smiled the way people do when they're already living in the future. "Isn't she beautiful?" The picture was warm from her fingers, glossy, slightly curled at the edges. Everyone around us was laughing, drifting between the snack table and the balloon tied to the oak tree. Somewhere behind me, someone dropped a tray of cupcakes. A radio was playing low, one of those weekend playlists meant to sound effortless. I didn't answer right away. I just looked at the image. I've spent most of my adult life looking at medical scans. It's what I do for work. After a while, you stop seeing pictures and start seeing patterns, shapes, absences, things that don't belong where they are. And this wasn't right. I felt it before I could explain it. A cold, quiet certainty settling in my chest, the kind that doesn't rush or panic. It just arrives and stays. I kept my face neutral. That took practice, but it wasn't new. I'd learned a long time ago that the wrong expression can do real damage. My sister Lily didn't notice. She was already talking again, pointing to the curve on the image, tracing it with her nail. "That's her profile," she said. "They said she's stubborn, wouldn't turn for the camera." I nodded slowly. I told her it was a sweet picture. I told her she looked happy. Both things were true. Then I asked where she'd had it done. She lit up. "That new place by the grocery store, the boutique one, they make it really special. Candles, music, the whole thing. It's not like a hospital at all." A breeze moved through the yard, lifting the streamers. Pink and blue ribbons tapped softly against the fence. Someone called Lily's name from across the lawn, asking where the pin was for the balloon. I told her I needed the restroom. Instead, I walked into the kitchen and found her husband, Mark, leaning against the counter, scrolling on his phone, pretending not to be nervous. I said his name once, quietly. He looked up, smiling out of habit. "You okay?" "We need to talk," I said. The smile faded, just a little. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't explain. I just waited until he followed me into the hallway and closed the door behind us. The house felt different in there. Muted. The laughter outside softened into something distant. "That scan," I said. "It's not a baby." He blinked. Once. Then again. For a moment, he didn't say anything at all. I remember noticing the hum of the refrigerator, the way his hand tightened around the neck of his beer. "What do you mean?" he asked finally. "I mean the image is wrong," I said. "The density, the structure, the placement. It doesn't match what it's supposed to be." He shook his head slowly. "But they heard the heartbeat." I didn't answer that yet. Outside, someone started counting down, testing the crowd. Laughter followed. Someone shushed them. Mark leaned back against the wall like he needed it to stay upright. I told him Lily needed a real scan, at a real hospital, tonight. "She won't leave," he said. "She's been waiting for this day for months." I looked past him toward the door, where Lily's laugh cut through the noise again, bright, unburdened. "I know," I said, "but we'll figure it out." We stood there for a few seconds longer than necessary. Then I reached into my bag and felt my phone vibrate. A message had just come through. I didn't read it yet. Then I waited. We went back outside like nothing had happened. That was the hardest part. Walking into noise while carrying something heavy and invisible. Lily was already near the balloon again, her hand resting on her stomach without thinking, the way people do when they believe something precious is there. Mark moved beside her. He put his arm around her shoulders. His smile was careful now. Practiced. I drifted toward the edge of the yard, close enough to be present, far enough to breathe. The smell of cut grass mixed with frosting and charcoal. Someone had brought a portable speaker closer, turning the volume up just a bit. Lily's friend Jenna caught my arm as I passed. "Can you believe this?" she said. I swear I knew it was a girl. I could just tell. I nodded. I didn't trust my voice. I watched Lily instead, the way she shifted her weight, the way she paused sometimes like she was listening to something inside herself. Every small movement meant something to her now. Every sensation had a story attached. I understood how that happens. When people want something badly enough, their minds help them believe. The countdown started for real this time. I remember thinking briefly that I could stop it. Say something. Interrupt. But stopping it wouldn't change what was already there. It would only change how it broke. So I stayed quiet. The balloon burst. Pink paper scattered into the air, catching sunlight before drifting down onto shoulders and grass and plates of food. The sound of cheering rose fast and full like a wave. Lily cried. Happy tears, the kind people don't try to hide. She hugged Mark, then our mother, then me. Her stomach pressed against my side, firm, unyielding. I wrapped my arms around her and felt the shape of it clearly, not with emotion, with recognition. I told myself to remember this moment exactly as it was. The laughter, the confetti stuck in her hair, the way the future still looked intact. 2 hours later, I said I had to leave. I used work as the excuse. That part wasn't even a lie. I told Lily Mark was driving me because I wasn't feeling well enough to drive myself. She frowned, but she let us go. She hugged me again at the door. Text me when you get home, she said. We're doing brunch tomorrow, don't forget. I won't, I said. The car ride was silent. Streetlights slid across the windshield in steady intervals. Mark's hands stayed locked at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel. What if you're wrong? He asked quietly. If I were wrong, I said, I wouldn't be this calm. He nodded once. That was enough. At the hospital, everything moved quickly and slowly at the same time. Phones were answered, doors opened, names were exchanged. Lily arrived confused, asking why we were there, why people were looking at her chart instead of celebrating. I took her hands in a small consultation room. The lights were soft, neutral, designed not to alarm. I told her we needed to do another scan, a proper one. Her face changed then, not fear yet, just uncertainty. I already had one, she said. You saw it. I did, I said. And that's why we're here. She searched my face for reassurance. I didn't give her false comfort. I just stayed present. When they took her back, I stayed in the hallway. I sat down. I put my phone face down on the chair beside me. Then I waited. From behind the closed door, I heard the machine power on, and after that, nothing at all. I didn't go into the room. That was a choice, not avoidance, control. From the hallway, I could see the reflection of the monitor through the glass panel. Just enough movement to confirm what I already suspected. Just enough to know when someone else saw it too. The technician stopped speaking. That pause matters. People don't realize how much information lives in silence. A moment later, the door opened and Dr. Hale stepped out. We'd worked together for years, not close friends, but we trusted each other's judgment. He didn't say anything at first. He didn't need to. Can you step in for a minute? He asked. Inside, Lily was propped slightly on the bed, paper sheet folded carefully over her legs. She was still smiling, but it had tightened at the edges. Her eyes moved between our faces, waiting for the shape of the answer. The screen was turned away from her. I noticed that too. Dr. Hale spoke evenly, clear, no wasted words. There is no fetus, he said. There never was. Lily laughed once, a short sound, not disbelief, reflex. That's not funny, she said. I moved closer. I took her hand again. This time she didn't squeeze back. He turned the screen toward her. The image was unmistakable now. Dense, uniform, fixed where nothing living should be. He pointed once, only once. This is a mass, he said, likely ovarian, large, solid. Her breathing changed, faster, shallow. But they let me hear the heartbeat, she said. They said it was strong. Dr. Hale nodded. They likely played a recording, or you were hearing blood flow through surrounding vessels. I watched Lily's face as the meaning reached her. Not all at once, in stages, shock, confusion, a brief, desperate calculation. Then loss. Mark stepped forward, his hands trembling as he rested them on her shoulders. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. What happens now? She asked. This is where systems matter, process, order. Dr. Hale explained the next steps: imaging, blood work, surgery, timing, risks, outcomes. I listened, but I was already organizing. Step 1, confirm extent. Step 2, surgical consult. Step 3, removal, pathology, recovery. Emotion could wait, bodies couldn't. They scheduled surgery for the following morning. When Lily was wheeled away to a room upstairs, Mark stayed with her. I stayed behind with the paperwork. Consent forms, admission details, insurance information, names, dates, times, things that don't lie. Later that night, after visiting hours ended, I drove home alone. The house felt too quiet. I poured a glass of water and didn't drink it. Instead, I sat at the table and opened my laptop. I searched the name of the imaging studio Lily had gone to. I read their website carefully, the language, the promises, the absence of credentials. Then I opened a new document and started a list: dates, statements, claims. At the bottom of the page, I typed one sentence and left it there. This didn't just happen to her. Then I closed the laptop and waited for morning. The surgery went smoothly. That was the phrase the surgeon used when he came into the waiting room just after sunrise. Calm voice, steady posture, no rush to soften the words because there was nothing left to soften. They removed the mass intact, no rupture, no spread. Preliminary signs suggested it was benign, but pathology would confirm. Lily would recover fully. Fertility likely preserved. Mark closed his eyes when he heard that. Just for a second. Then he nodded and thanked the surgeon like someone who still remembered his manners. Lily slept most of that day. I stayed until evening, then went home, showered, and changed clothes. The smell of antiseptic lingered in my hair longer than it should have. I sat at my kitchen table again and opened the document I'd started the night before. This time, I worked methodically. Step 1, verify licensing. Step 2, identify regulatory boundaries. Step 3, find pattern, not incident. I called the state medical board the next morning. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I asked questions, specific ones. Was the facility licensed? No. Were they permitted to provide diagnostic information? No. Were they allowed to determine fetal health or sex? Absolutely not. The compliance officer on the line paused when I described the scan. Longer pause than normal. Do you have documentation? He asked. I will, I said. That afternoon, I requested Lily's records from the boutique imaging studio. They sent back a glossy packet. Photos, a receipt, a printed report filled with vague reassurances and friendly language, no medical disclaimers, no credentials, just confidence. I took screenshots of their website, their social media, their advertisements promising peace of mind and reassurance. Then I searched their reviews. Most were glowing, short, emotional, but buried between them were comments that didn't fit. Wrong gender, missed abnormalities, confusion after follow-up scans. I messaged a few people quietly. I introduced myself carefully, explained why I was asking. I didn't expect many replies. By the end of the week, 12 people had written back. Their stories were different in detail, identical in shape, false certainty, delayed diagnoses, real harm. One message came in late at night, a woman describing a rupture, emergency surgery, loss of future pregnancies. I read it twice. Then I added her name to the list. By the following Monday, I had a folder, digital and physical, statements, screenshots, records. I didn't feel angry, I felt precise. I scheduled a meeting with the board. I invited a reporter I trusted. I informed an attorney who specialized in medical negligence. When I told Lily what I was doing, she listened quietly. Are you sure? She asked. I don't know if I have the energy for this. You don't have to do anything, I said. This part is mine. She nodded. That was consent enough. The appointment was set for Friday morning. I placed the folder in my bag the night before. Then I turned off the light and slept. The building looked exactly like Lily had described it. Pastel walls, a scripted calm, stuffed animals lined up on white shelves like proof of happiness. The sign on the door used words like experience and memories, nothing that sounded medical if you listened carefully. I arrived with the board investigators at 8 sharp. No cameras yet. That was intentional. The owner opened the door herself, mid-50s, confident posture, a smile that appeared before she finished reading faces. "Can I help you?" she asked. The lead investigator said her name and handed over the papers. Cease and desist. Notice of investigation. Temporary closure, effective immediately. Her smile collapsed inward, like something folding under pressure. "This is entertainment," she said quickly. "I don't practice medicine. I didn't raise my voice when I spoke. I didn't need to." "You told my sister she was carrying a healthy baby girl," I said. "You charged her for that statement. You played a heartbeat. You gave her an image of a tumor and labeled it a child." She looked at me then. Really looked. "I don't know what scan you're talking about," she said. "I never diagnose anything." The attorney beside me stepped forward and opened the folder. "You told multiple clients their babies were developing normally," she said. "You identified gender. You commented on organ formation. You reassured patients who later experienced medical emergencies." She slid one document forward, then another. The investigator read silently. His expression didn't change, but his pen stopped moving. "I want a lawyer," the owner said. "That's your right," the investigator replied. "This facility is still closed." The deputy moved to the door and placed a notice on the glass. That was when the cameras came in. The reporter asked me one question. "What do you want people to understand about places like this?" I thought about Lily, about the pink confetti still stuck in the seams of her dress, about the weight of a future that had never existed. "Ultrasound isn't decoration," I said. "It's medicine, and pretending otherwise costs people time they don't have." The story ran that night. Then it kept running. Other families came forward, other states, other storefronts with different names and the same script. The owner was charged within weeks. Fraud. Practicing without a license. Reckless endangerment. Lily testified months later. I sat behind her in the courtroom and listened as she explained what it felt like to grieve something that was never real and completely real at the same time. She didn't cry until the end. Afterward, she walked past the defendant without looking at her. She stopped when she reached my row. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for not letting me be alone in it." I nodded. I didn't say anything. There was nothing left to define. The verdict came back guilty on all counts, and when it was over, when the room emptied and the noise faded, I walked outside and stood in the sun for a long moment. Then I went home and made tea. Life didn't snap back into place after the trial. It adjusted slowly, carefully, like a room being put back together after something heavy was removed. Lily came home a week after surgery. She moved cautiously at first, both physically and emotionally. Some days she spoke, some days she didn't. Mark learned how to sit with her without trying to fix anything. That was new for him, but he learned. I helped where I could. Groceries, appointments, quiet company. The pathology report confirmed what the surgeon had suspected. Benign, fully removed, no further treatment required. Her prognosis was good. The grief was not. Her therapist explained it simply one afternoon while we sat at the kitchen table, cups of tea untouched. "This is a real loss," she said. "The brain doesn't distinguish between a baby that existed and a baby that was believed in." That sentence stayed with me. Lily packed away the nursery herself, slowly, methodically, one drawer at a time. She didn't ask for help, and no one offered. That mattered. A few months later, the state finalized the restitution process. Checks were issued, licenses permanently revoked. New regulations drafted, tighter language around what imaging centers could and could not claim. It didn't undo the damage, but it stopped it from spreading. The reporter called once more to tell me similar facilities had shut down in 3 neighboring counties. Quiet closures, no signs, just locked doors and empty windows. Lily and Mark didn't watch the follow-up coverage. They were busy rebuilding something smaller. Dinner routines, morning walks, normal days. One evening, Lily called me. "We're thinking about adopting," she said, careful, testing the words. I told her I thought that made sense. Months passed. Then one afternoon, I was invited back to their house. Same backyard, same tree. No balloons this time, just soft music and people talking in low voices. Mark opened the door holding a bundle wrapped in yellow. "This is Anna," he said. She's 3 weeks old. Lily stood beside him, steady, present, real. I watched her hold her daughter, not imagined, not promised, just there, and felt something settle. Not happiness exactly. Completion. Later, when I drove home, I thought about another message sitting unread in my inbox. A woman in another city, another boutique, another question. I hadn't answered yet, but I would. Some things, once seen, don't let you look away. A few weeks later, my mornings returned to their usual rhythm. Coffee, emails, a short walk before work. Ordinary things that feel different after you've seen how fragile certainty can be. Lily sent photos sometimes. Nothing staged, just Anna sleeping on Mark's chest, a bottle warming on the counter, a half-folded blanket on the couch. The kind of quiet proof that life was moving forward again, carefully, on its own terms. One evening, I sat at my kitchen table and opened that unread message. Another woman. Different city. Same type of imaging studio. Same confusion. Same calm panic underneath her words. I replied simply. Asked where she'd gone. Asked if she'd had a medical scan yet. Told her what to ask for next. Then I closed the laptop. I've learned that you don't always need to fight loudly to make things right. Sometimes you just pay attention. Sometimes you speak once, clearly. Sometimes you stay when others look away. And sometimes that's enough. If you stayed with me through this story, thank you. If it resonated with you, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. It helps this quiet corner of the internet grow. I'd also love to know where you're watching from and what time it is there right now. I read those comments more than you might think. 2 more stories will be waiting for you next. Ones that unfolded just as quietly and mattered just as much. Take care of yourself.